Welcome, everybody, to tonight's question and answer session. We have myself, Adam Ringham Ocean, and we also have Jennifer Conley. We're going to be here to answer everything for you. Remember, we never make any kind of income claims, and we never say that we are going to treat, cure, or diagnose any kind of diseases. So if you hear me answer you in a way that maybe isn't the most direct, please understand we have an obligation to make sure that we don't get the hammer brought down on us. We're going to do our very best to support you. We have 1 hour tonight from 7 to 8. At the 8 o'clock mark, we've got to jump off, but we now have 57 minutes that we can be introduced to each other. Anything that you need, you can feel free at any point to, let me just double check on here and allow yourself that each one of you can unmute yourself. Jennifer, would you like to unmute yourself, say hello, and kind of introduce and just say hello to the world here really quickly before we get started? Oh, she's actually not. Oh, she is on.
No, I'm here. I'm sorry, guys. My camera's off. I'm still not feeling well. Welcome, everybody. Thank you guys so much for coming. I really don't want to take up the time. So as always, Adam and I want to provide you guys with the maximum education and support that we can offer you. So tonight's weekly call is just going to be answering your questions, because I know after a lot of the Zooms, we don't have enough time to cover that. So here we are, and welcome, and let's get this ball rolling.
All right, on that note, anybody, if they would like to unmute yourself, I've got some cool announcements we're going to go through. First, while I get them pulled up of what we can introduce to you, feel free, someone unmute yourself and bring us a Q&A while I just dance around over here very shortly to bring up the next part of the fun announcements that we got for you, because let's always have fun with announcements. So anybody, unmute yourself, ask a question, and we will get to it.
Yeah, I got a question.
Yes, sir.
Adam, I have a very good friend of mine, a dear friend of mine, who went through a very bad accident last year. She crushed her pelvis, broke a leg, involved a car running her over, a very bad accident. And she tried the P90, and it was like 4 or 5 months after her accident, and her pain increased. So she mentioned this to her doctor, who proceeded to laugh at her and tell her, well, that's what you get for trying to play doctor on your own. So, and then he hung up the phone on her. So that tells you a lot about his character. What would you tell me to tell her? Because she's scared to use it again after the doctor, gave her that emphatic response.
Oh, yeah, that was very nice of that doctor. Wow. Ouch. That guy's, that's a doctor you drop real fast.
Yeah.
It can happen as you get into a car accident, nerves get crushed. That's a lot of nerve damage, meaning the nerves suddenly have lost all of their function, because when they get crushed, they get damaged, they get demyelinated, the nerves die. As they start to turn back on, as the nerves start to, say, regenerate, reconnect, which is something that we can do. We can induce this with terahertz waves and PEMF. We can actually induce neuroplasticity, neuroregeneration, because we're not treating a medical condition with this. As they start to come on, imagine the amount of trauma these nerves went through that they've been disconnected from, that they now have to reconnect to that area of, as they start to regenerate, think of the amount of pain in the area that's stuck there that they've just never been able to feel before. So as the nerves start coming back on, it's not that we want to say, oh my gosh, yeah, I'll be like, this is just part of the, part of the equation of when you turn it back on. But there is a very scientific basis to look at it, go, that area of the body experienced a large amount of trauma. There's a lot of pain there that when the nerves were killed, they've never felt it before. So as the nerves start to regrow and regenerate, and they're suddenly getting feeling back in the area, all of that trapped pain that they've never felt before, they're probably starting to feel it suddenly, to go, oh my gosh, this area of the body has a bunch of damage I've never felt before. That would be the most logical scientific way to look at this, of saying, just empirically, how do we justify and rationale this? Because obviously it always sucks if somebody starts using the device, things get worse. They're like, my pain increased when it was supposed to decrease. It's also can be, and this isn't 100% for sure, but we could look at this from a logical scientific standpoint to go, if you have that much pain in that area of the body, that much damage that happened to it, And now suddenly the nerves are starting to reconnect to that area and they're starting to feel that pain again. The doctor's response is horrifying to go, that's not how you support a patient. You talk about the nerves connecting to that area, how much pain is there that you've never felt because the nerves have been dead and destroyed by the accident. As they start regrowing and they're feeling the trauma and the pain that's there, that's heartbreaking to hear that a doctor would respond in that way and then hang up the phone and not give them any kind of explanation. I mean, that's unfortunately what
Yeah,
we get
Brian, there's possibly another component to that as well. Do you know what level she was using?
I do
And
not.
that's a
And
great, you
that
guys, everything Adam said is spot on. When nerves regenerate, you're going to feel tingling sensations. It might be uncomfortable. It might be just a tingling. It might be discomfort. It might be severe. It might be not severe. It's different for everybody, but I would also ask her what level and the intensity level and then the duration of time, because another thing that I've seen over and over again is that we all know that this device increases cellular voltage. And when you increase cellular voltage, we talk about how it also facilitates cellular detoxification. And when you do detox, part of what can happen is discomfort may appear in the weakened areas of the body. So for instance, somebody with, that's been in an accident, those areas in the body are technically, quote unquote, weakened energetically and physically. And so detoxification can actually present in the body as pain as well. So I would ask her what level she was doing and for how many minutes and have her significantly reduce that. And if she wants to talk to myself or Adam too, I'm sure that we can connect with her. But Adam made
awesome.
a great point. Yeah, nerve regeneration is not always easy. It can be painful in the beginning, and then typically it gets better as you continue.
Yeah,
Okay, great. Yeah, it's been a couple of months since she tried, so maybe we'll come back. I'll probably do a little screen record of this when I get the recording and share it with her. Thanks.
Yep, we'll make sure you get the recording, but exactly if that area of the body suffered that much trauma and the nerves died as they start reconnecting to it, this is just part of like, even when we go through something emotionally, mentally, spiritually, there's a component of pain that's required for that healing, that if that area of the body's been crushed and now the nerves are regenerating and can finally feel the pain, that's not overly surprising. That I hate to say the pain is a good thing, but it's a change is a change. And we can scientifically and empirically look at this of going, well, there is an explanation for that. David, you had a question, sir.
I actually had a comment.
Okay, that'll work.
Like Jennifer said, your comments are spot on. If you look at this from a purely mechanical point of view, you have a battery. Picture that as your foot and your meter as your brain, and you got burnt wires between them. Well, that meter's not going to read much out of that battery because the wires are burnt, and that damage is preventing the voltage from reaching your brain. You put new wires in there and it's going to peg the meter out. So if you relate that physical description to your feet and your brain and repairing your nerves, and I've talked to a few people who have recovered from neuropathy, it hurts. It is not comfortable. Take Dawn for an example. It's not comfortable, but like you said, in this case, pain's good. It means something is happening that will make it better in the future.
Oh, Dave, do you got an electrical engineer background, electrician? Give us a quick, because I love the analogy that you brought up. It's fantastic.
I am an engineer. I'm an IT engineer, have been for 40 years. I'm a design engineer. I've rebuilt electrical components, reverse engineered power supplies. I've done a lot.
Yeah, you made really good points of looking at it from an electrical, like an engineering standpoint, to go, when you suddenly replace the burnt out wires, you're going to needle out in terms of that meter that's reading it, just like the brain. So I really appreciate bringing that perspective and that wisdom that you've got. So thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Well, Adam, I'd like to piggyback on Brian's concern. So can you hear me?
Yes, we can.
Okay, I was going to be a fly on the wall today, but in this group,
Not
you
anymore.
just can't. So I had a very interesting experience today. This is my fourth week of using the P90, and I have severe stenosis and herniated discs up and down my spine with a really severe case in my neck, and then my lumbar and thoracic is the worst pain. So the P90 really rescued me from taking some painkillers that would have been pretty bad long-term to use. And I'm no longer taking the painkillers. And I just experienced the most magnificent inflammation reduction and pain reduction using the P90 until today. And what happened was I was just kind of getting ambitious and excited because I've actually got it up to level 5 at times and totally reduced the pain level from, say, 7 to 2 or 1. Okay. And then I've had a few times where I actually have 0 pain, and that hasn't happened in years. So I've been in just chronic daily pain on a level from 7 to 9. So now my pain management is down to between 1 and 3, okay, average, which is just a miracle. However, today I jacked it up to 5 for 30 minutes. And then I went to the grocery store a couple hours later, and I literally had to stop in mid-step walking because my lumbar, I felt the disc slip, and it was extremely painful to the extent where, you freeze in your step. So I have a question. Did I get overly ambitious with level 5? I've used it before and been very happy with it, but today it felt like things went really wrong, and it was extremely painful.
I have a quick comment.
Okay.
Hi, Kate.
Hey.
Hey there. So with every injury, cellular memory, and sometimes the body cannot differentiate what it is actually receiving. And even something healthy like PEMF or terahertz or the combination of both can be interpreted by the nervous system as a stress response. If it is too much, it will re-stimulate that cellular memory as we hold deep in our tissues. So from my perspective, and I've seen it over and over and over again, from my perspective, 5 was just a little bit too much for you, and lower and slower is better. But I completely understand, why you would, you've been doing so well. Why not go ahead and push it up 1 or 2 levels? I'm not sure if you were on 4 before and then went up to 5.
Just I went up to 5, just feeling so happy and
Yeah.
like, this is just incredible. Let's see what happens on 5. And actually I've done it at least 2 or 3 times before today.
Okay.
And it was great.
So
Yeah.
sometimes the body can even interpret, like I said, PEMF, terahertz, supplements, Rife machines, ozone, vitamin C, whatever it is that we're doing, it still can interpret it as a stressful event if the body isn't ready for that. So then the cellular memory, what was going on before, is triggered and will come back. But what you're going to see is you're just going to go down a little bit, go back to what you were doing, and this should resolve pretty quickly.
I wanted to ask you, Jennifer, the thought crossed my mind. I wonder what Jennifer would do or tell her patients. I did kind of overdo it with coffee today. I got up really early, and my schedule is changing. It's becoming more Ayurvedic. I actually went to bed at 9:45 instead of like 1 in the morning. I got up at
Yes.
5:45. It was just incredible.
All of that has increased your stress response in your body,
Oh,
especially caffeine. If you
uh-huh.
follow the work of Paul
Yeah.
St.
I had
John,
3
Paul
cups, which
St.
was overboard, you know.
Paul St. John is a mastermind at neuromuscular rehabilitation therapy. And one of the things he teaches is that when you suffer from chronic pain, you have to eliminate caffeine from the body. And now, not everybody believes in that theory, but caffeine is actually going to stimulate a stress response in a stressed out body. And anybody that's undergone something that creates so much pain that you're living at level 7. Level 7 is not just the combination of the physical pain, it's the combination of the spiritual, emotional, and physical pain, as well as all different types of stress that you're having in your life. So it sounds like you did a lot of stressful things. You didn't get enough sleep. You induced caffeine into the situation, and then you bumped it up, and your body went, "Ah, short circuit. I'm not working today. I'm going back to my old patterns, my old memories." So, what I would suggest is just try to get sleep, try to hydrate, try to rest, try to eliminate stress as much as possible, breathe, meditate, and then and go back to your lower levels maybe for a day, like 1 or 2, and then restart what was
Okay.
working and elevate slowly.
Yep.
Well, just to clarify, I am recovering from an injury that was pretty severe. And but I had a feeling, I've been thinking it's really time to give up the coffee. And so this is wonderful to hear the reinforcement about caffeine. And I do understand it can cause a lot of havoc with the muscles. So thank you. I'm giving
And
up coffee.
I think a portion of it too might be putting the carriage before the horse. That part of the thing of what you mentioned from the beginning is you were at the grocery store and you felt the disc slip.
Yeah.
And then the pain came from it. Well, the caffeine, the disc slipping, instead of it being, oh, level 5 caused the problem is we overdid it, the disc slipped, caused the pain. It's probably in like to throw it in there as a thinking point for you to go, it's not that the level 5 was a problem. It was the fact you went out, went to the grocery store, were feeling good, and all of a sudden you overdid it, the disc slipped. Now that caused this whole cascade of other problems that went on, that rather than saying, well, level 5 caused this, it could be, I went out, overdid it, the disc slipped. The caffeine still is like a component of this portion, but it's not so much, to look at this as a side thought to say, the level 5 wasn't so much the problem. It's the fact we went out and did it, and then the disc slipped.
It's
Yeah.
potential. It's potentially that. We need to reduce all factors that could have contributed to it, and then
Yeah.
So it's a
Yeah,
whole component.
I was
Gonna
doing the
recover quickly.
P90 and just sipping away at all this coffee.
Oh, they're
And
great
was
together. I get it.
I
I
know,
love
and
doing the P90 with coffee in the morning. Like it feels so good. I get it.
So before I went to the grocery store, I was already in a bad state, but I was pushing myself. So I know it's time to say bye to the caffeine.
And
So
for
I'm gonna
some
do it.
people, the higher levels are more stimulatory. So for some people, the lower levels work better for pain. It's different for everybody. So Adam and I just really can't know for certain. But it would be my suggestion, and I'm sure his as well, to go ahead and reduce it and see how you do. And you might find that the higher levels in the beginning exacerbate what's going on a little bit, but that doesn't mean it's necessarily a bad thing.
Yep.
Just
And
like what we were talking
as a
about
caffeine
before.
addict, you might love the higher levels in the morning. Be like, get rid of the coffee, use the
Well,
P90
yeah.
for like a level 10 for 5 minutes, going like, that's my coffee replacement. You'll still get the stimulation, but you're not going to get the coffee side effects of the jitters, the pain, the reduced blood flow, and all the other problems that come with the coffee. So just keep playing with it. It sounds like you're absolutely on the right track, but I think we're right that we gotta pull the caffeine out, as much fun as it
Yeah.
is to
Yeah.
have
And if
coffee
you
and the
do
P90 together.
continue with the caffeine, try to find one that doesn't have, try to find a source that doesn't have mold and metals and different
Oh, yeah.
mycotoxins in it.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. I think
Just
my
make sure
next
it's
step
clean.
is just cut this damn stuff out. And there are so many wonderful options for health as far as your diet goes. So I'm headed there.
All
ready
right.
for the next step.
Yep.
Thank you, guys.
Lori,
Thank
you had a
so
comment
much.
for us, hon.
Yeah, hi
Yeah.
there. I just have a question, kind of a piggyback on that. I am wondering, if somebody starts out with it, or if you loan it out for, say, a week, what kind of protocol would you put somebody on? If has never experienced it, obviously, like level 1, 5 minutes first day, level 1, 10 minutes the next night. Would you implement higher levels at that point, or just stay on a lower level for the week?
Usually we just say for your first week before bed, level 1 for 15 to 30 minutes. That for the first week, I mean, even if you're just loaning it to them, even if it's the middle of the day, it's usually level 1, 15 to 30 minutes for the full week. Like, let this set in a little bit. We like it's as I always say in the calls, be like, it's never a race to get to level 10 thinking level 10 is better. Level 10 is an option. We're Americans, we love to go 1 is good, but 5 is better, right? I'm guilty of that all the time. I love to overdo things. But it's not a race ever to get to a level 10. Level 10, just because it's a higher number, doesn't mean it's better. It just means it's different.
Right.
Every level has merit that we're not trying to race to level 10. We're trying to find what are the right levels for you that work best for you. Not so much, can't wait to get to level 10. It's what's the right level for you?
I think part of
Sure.
the question, Lori, is they only have it for a week, right? You're
Yeah.
lending it. So what I do is I will let them, I'll stick with level 1, but first I'm going to, ask and question their past medical history. I'm going to make a judgment, right? If someone's been chronically ill for 20 years, I may start with just 5 minutes. If someone is relatively healthy, you just make a judgment there, decide whether you're going to start 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, or start at the full 30. You stay at level 1, like Adam suggested. Because especially if you're going to do a demo and they're not going to be operating the device, oftentimes I will put the device up to level 3 for 30 seconds and then bring it back to level 1, go up to level 5 for 30 seconds, go back to level 1, and even let them see level 10 for 10 seconds and then go back. That way they can see the different intensity levels, what it feels like, what this device can potentially do for them, and just have that experience. And so, but of course you would not do that if they have an extensive past medical history. You would just start low and slow. I'm
Okay.
just telling you an example of what I do.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Thank you. Really appreciate it.
You're welcome.
All right, Victoria, do you have a question there?
I just want to add to what you're speaking about, because I've been in the industry for 30 years. First of all, I always start somebody out so slow, even myself, but people don't understand. You guys have great responses. You're detoxing, and people are not healthy. If they're not eating organic foods and they're not doing good things for their body, they're going to get a worse response. I just want to share one quick story. I was diagnosed with a serious breast issue. I had thermal imaging. So I was a 4, which was very serious. And I dove into that detox like nobody's business because I was healthy. When I went back for my exam after 6 months of doing what I was doing, it got worse. And the doctor told my boss, I don't believe in chemo or radiation, but she better do something. But we understood when you detox, it's going to get worse before it gets better. Within a year, I went back to a perfectly normal one. So people got to understand it's detoxifying you, and make sure they're drinking their minerals, because I've been experiencing leg cramping on and off, and I'm doing lots of minerals. So there's a lot to this that people aren't understanding. Slow and eat clean. That's it.
Point. Very valuable information. Thank you for that input.
You're welcome.
Sue, like that is incredible to look at too, because much like you said, Victoria, as a person starts to reset a stress response, you might start chewing through a ton of magnesium as the body's going, oh, wow, we've actually reset our stress complex. Now we've got a whole new mineral demand, especially too when we've moved from fight or flight to rest and digest. When you move into rest and digest, the body now starts to regenerate. It's going to have an entirely different nutritional demand because you've actually moved. If you're just in fight or flight, it has one set of nutritional demand, one set of mineral demand. When you move into rest and digest, the body's going to go, oh my God, give me all the magnesium. Let me suck it up. Like you literally can't take it in fast enough sometimes because the body is now starting to absorb nutrients. Where you're in fight or flight, the body won't absorb nutrients, won't absorb minerals, won't use them. When you finally hit that parasympathetic, that rest and digest, the body is going to go, gimme, 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 gimme. I can do something with them. Instead of the cells going, I'm in fight or flight. I'm busy over here. You go do your thing. That is a beautiful point to bring up, Victoria, to understand the nutritional differences that start happening when you move from fight or flight to rest and digest. The body's going to have an entirely different nutritional demand when you've moved out of that fight or flight. And it's insane how much there is to balance, but that brings into the beauty of it, of looking what a complex machinery and creation that we actually are to go, wow, so you're telling me when I move out of fight or flight, my body's going to take and require 10 times more nutrients and minerals because it's now actually regenerating and it's actually taking them into the cell. Oh, it's so much fun. And Jennifer and I have some really cool stuff that we've been playing with, some very piezoelectric friendly minerals that can help enhance this in a bunch of ways. And they're going to be awesome. They're some of the best stuff. And we can't wait. We have so many things to catch up on at some point, but her and I have been working very diligently in finding some of the most important things that not only are like important and effective, but cost friendly, because we always want it to be the lowest cost possible with the maximum return. That's why we love OliLife. Lowest cost possible, maximum return. And if we can add just these little teeny things that are super inexpensive, but people can amplify their benefits exponentially, just understanding when you move into parasympathetic, you have different nutritional demands. Oh, it's exciting. Oh, it's so much fun. It's almost like I'm a video gamer. I've got this big, 42-inch screen. I kind of look at my life and my health as a video game. How do you play the game instead of being mad at it and say, oh, well, I'm so mad that this is happening? Instead, like, it's a video game that's a different level. Learn how to play the game. It's a ton of fun. Instead of treating it like a burden, turn it into a game of going, okay, well, there's certain rules. First, I've learned to play by the rules. Then I learn how to break them. Oh my God, it's so much fun. So, all right, what do we got for our next one? I love these calls. These are so much fun. This is the greatest guys. It's like you guys are all in my living room having like conversations with me. It's so much fun.
Adam,
yes.
did you want me to talk about my arm?
Yes, please and thank you. Please and thank you. I apologize. Thanks for coming in. I'm trying to keep up with the comments and then keep the thought process straight, but fun.
I know. Okay, so Martin Luther King Day, I fell and broke my arm. I splintered the bone in several directions. And my journey has been a crazy one. But my last visit, not the one this week, but the one before that, he actually sat down and talked to me and said that sometimes it takes a really long time for bones to heal, that mine was healing, but not as fast or as well as they had liked, that it may never be quite right. And I thought, when I left there, I was like, no, it's going to heal. It's going to heal. It's got to heal. So anyhow, I've been using the P90 almost every single day, and I use it about 5 or 6. And I went Tuesday and had new x-rays, and he came flying in the room and he said, I have such good news for you. He said, your arm is completely healed. I am so excited about how good it looks. He said, continue with physical therapy. I said, well, sometimes I get, pains. And he said, well, that should subside. But anyhow.
We lost you there, Lori. Did you end up muting yourself?
You must be. I I'm sorry, I apologize. But anyhow,
Totally okay.
I don't know where I lost it, but he came bouncing in and said that he was so excited about how well it looked and how good it was, and that I didn't need to go back and see them anymore. And just to continue the physical therapy, for the shoulder movement. But I do have a little bit, and I didn't think it was healed because I do have pain like where all the breaks were. But I think listening to everybody talk, I think it's because I've been using the P90 and the blood flow is getting to those areas and regenerating everything, because I know where it's broke, and that's where the pain has been. It's not a horrible pain. It's just more of an ache.
Amen.
But-
And that's macro to the micro of bones, joints, tendons, ligaments have a tendency to regenerate a whole lot faster than nerves do. So that base level structural foundation, because that's essential for bodily function in terms of, if you look at it from a survival standpoint, what needs to regenerate first? Bones for support, like you got to have your support first, then the muscles and tendons and ligaments. And then after that, the body will go, okay, now that I got my foundation back, we can start to regenerate the nerves. But that's awesome. That's excellent input. And like, super appreciate that.
Yeah, no,
it's getting better.
Yes, it's super fantastic, because I'm very excited, because my last visit before this, he gave me the frowny face, and it was kind of disheartening. And then for him to come in, and he was just a totally different person, and said, I'm setting you free. I don't think you need to come back unless something happens. And I'm like, well, I don't want anything to happen, but
Oh, you do got to go back and tell him about the thing. Be like, hey, by the way, check this out.
And we didn't even talk about that, but I was just so stunned when I went in there, because I was expecting him to say that it still wasn't healed. And in fact, it is healed. So I just need to get the rest of it, back in shape. But it's awesome.
Yeah, we're going to get, that's great news. Oh, so just keep on doing what you're doing, because that's apparently super great news. Dave and Stanine asked a question in the chat. Is it safe to use with multiple joint replacements? Yes, just start low and slow. Always just start slow. See how you respond. We've got people that are literally nearly Iron Man that are using the device that are getting great results from it. Safe for those with AFib. There is actually some really cool research out there. You can go Google PEMF and AFib. You will find some very, very promising studies that I encourage you to look into and go read. So to make sure that I'm not giving medical advice or treating or curing, be like, just go Google PEMF and AFib. You will very, very quickly find some very, very good studies. Does alcohol consumption nullify the results? Nullify, maybe not nullify. Can it dampen the results of it? Absolutely. Can it actually, in a small number of cases, could it amplify it? It could, in a very small number of cases of saying, okay, you had 1 to 2 beers and got yourself into that relax mode and used it. But overall, 99% of the time, it's going to dampen or hinder the results from the P90. If you're adding alcohol, there is a small percentage. You can get a short-term benefit, but try not to make it like an everyday use. Avoiding alcohol, period, is really kind of one of the best ways to do it. And let's see what we've got here.
Somebody's asking about cartilage regeneration. A couple people are. And again, as Adam is saying, one of the things this device does is it does support, or may support, healthy levels of inflammation and inflammatory response. And it also may support and help with the release of the myofascial tissue and the fascia within the muscles. So if there's any scar tissue or any type of myofascial restrictions that could potentially be causing basically increased force at the knee during walking or during gait patterns, that can cause degeneration over time, which can also be potentially quote unquote, I'm trying to be very medically compliant here. It can be diagnosed by a physician as osteoarthritis or cartilage regeneration. But what happens is when you reduce the inflammatory response or you support healthy levels of inflammation in the joints, you create an environment where the body can start to regenerate. And one of those things, if you Google PEMF and cartilage repair, you're gonna see different studies, different before and after pictures, and you will see what can happen with the use of PEMF over time. One of the things that I've seen is that you have to be very diligent and compliant with the use of the device. Use it every day to toleration, and make sure, you know, that everything is going well. There isn't a certain level that we can say, oh, level 5 works best for cartilage regeneration. We can't say that. It also helps with collagen. It also may help with collagen. It also may help increase blood flow to the area. So basically what we're doing, we're setting the body up to regenerate. We're creating an environment. Not only are we potentially supporting healthy levels of inflammatory response in quote unquote osteoarthritis, but we're also dealing with the reason that abnormal force even happened at that joint in the first place. Does that make sense?
Yeah, and the other component is terahertz waves have a really interesting affinity for two things: epithelial tissue, three things: epithelial tissue, connective tissue, and cartilage. Terahertz waves upregulate all of the genes involving skin, connective tissue, and cartilage, because it's activating the piezoelectric genes. When you go exercise, the body goes, hey, there's like the body sensing the pressure through an electric response in the body that it says, hey, strengthens the tendons, the ligaments, the joints, the cartilage, go strengthen it. When we're using the device, and even though you're just sitting on it induces this electric response that the body thinks it was under stress in all of these areas when it never was. So no damage was ever caused, but we electrically stimulated the body to make it go, hey, turn on all this regeneration, bones, tendons, ligaments, joints, muscle, cartilage, strengthen all of it. So there's that component to it as well, that the piezoelectric stimulation actually tells your body to start regrowing cartilage, going, the body feels as if it was under stress, but it actually wasn't. So there was no damage caused, but the body's going to signal the upregulation and the regeneration, which is kind of like a twofold benefit of it. So there is that possibility as well. And then you can nutritionally support yourself in multiple ways that only will enhance it further.
And if you look up and do some research on how to release fascia or myofascial release, it's all based on the phenomenon of the piezoelectric force. So yeah, I'm in full agreement with that.
Yeah, that's a fun topic for, I think we have another class.
Our fascia goes all the way through everything, you guys. It goes down to the ground substance of the body. It is not something different. It is intertwined in every single one of your organs, intertwined in every single one of your muscles, bones, neurovascular bundles. Every aspect of your body contains fascia. So when we are essentially creating the piezoelectric phenomenon throughout the body, it can potentially stimulate the release of fascia that needs to be released to allow the body to function at a cellular level. So this is just crazy cool what this device can do.
Yeah, if you guys ever heard me talk about microtubules, if you watch any of my other videos, if you haven't seen them, to contact your upline or me, we'll get them to you. But we've got microtubules. Fascia is what's in between that and the nervous system. The fascia is the whole, like we've got the microcosm of microtubules to the fascia is the macrocosm that is transmitting everything then finally to the nervous system. But the fascia is what connects everything together in between. And the nervous system's on the tail end, actually emotionally, spiritually, physically, the nervous system's on the tail end. The fascia and the microtubules are way before in what's going on and the amount of processing that's happening down there before your nervous system and your brain even gets to any of it. They're doing exponentially more.
Bless you.
I thought
Oh,
someone was
sorry.
blowing raspberries at me. Being like,
No, Mary
Adam,
sneezed.
Sorry,
Adam, your information's junk.
I forgot that I had the microphone still on. Can I just say something real quick?
Sure, drop it in here.
Okay, so this is Mary. Okay, so I kind of came in when Jennifer was talking about the demo levels, which were really good. And then Victoria was saying some stuff. And then Adam said some stuff. But all of those things are really good tips. And like what Jennifer said, we could probably write down ourselves. But what Victoria was saying about that we need to, like get our body has to be in a healthy state to have the P90 work the best. And those kinds of things are things that we might need, like if we could have like a little tip sheet on like to help people say, these are the things that would really help the machine work the best for you. And then I also wanted to bring in how, Adam, you were talking about the fight or flight, and that our minerals and stuff aren't absorbing into our body. And I think I feel that in my body too, that I've had asthma for 40 years, and I've got other issues, and I'm really trying to, I struggle with knowing what temperature, what level I should have it on, how long I should use, and stuff like that. So I know that that's true, that things aren't, I can take all the supplements in the world, but they're not really absorbing into my system right. And so it's kind of a waste. And so I need to do those steps to get detox to a part that I can start, really using the machine properly, and that it works with me, because everybody's so different. It's so hard to tell people how to use the machine or what levels and stuff, because everybody's body is different, and it affects everybody at a different speed or whatever.
Yeah, one of my
And so-
favorite. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
So just any of that stuff, like how Jennifer and Victoria and you were all talking about that stuff, those were really helpful tips that were kind of quick and easy. But if we could have them just on a little tip sheet, that would help us to be able to let the average person understand the flight and the flight and fight resistance in your body, that you're not taking this stuff in properly or detoxifying.
I'll work with Jennifer. We're going to make an easy cheat sheet together just based on those kind of things. And also one of my favorite words, I'm going to turn this into a whole presentation that I'll get in a recording on my Vimeo channel. If you guys haven't seen the Vimeo channel, connect with your upline. I've got all of our stuff, all our education, all our things all in one place that all you do is just type in the password. You got full access to it. You can share it. But one of my favorite words in the Hebrew language is Masa. It's one of the first ones I've learned, and Masa means a journey. Because the P90, a lot of people like to look at the P90 as like the end goal, the miracle, the one thing that's going to do it. It's a tool. It's not the end goal. And part of it, just like when you get a new garden shovel, or you get a rake, or you get a hoe, or you get a pliers, or you get a Leatherman, or a drill, or a Sawzall. The P90 is all of that in one, but it's not the solution. It's a solution, and it's a tool that we turn this into a Masa. It's a journey that each one of us embarks upon to say, how do I use this as a vehicle for health to get me from below the line to above the line faster? And
Yes.
if you haven't seen, there's a beautiful, we've got these great health journals that are available for each one of you that you can print through Canva for like 18 or 20 bucks. You can document a whole month's work long, get a hold of your upline. It's in the Business Builder group. If you can't find it, let your upline know. They'll get a hold of us. We'll get it back to you. But you can document and become cognizant and track your results. And one of my favorite things of, so many times of people are saying, just like you were saying, and it's not down talking in any way, but was saying like, well, I don't know what levels for what. That's the best part. We've now got a whole new journey, a Massah, that we get to embark upon and go, it's a learning curve. I've got a new tool. I've got a new vehicle to drive to help get me to my health destination. It's so much fun. So Jennifer and I will put together a quick cheat sheet. And then I think we've got a whole other Zoom that we get to do going beginning to end. And I've got a whole other presentation to make, and I'm excited. But it's always the emphasis I like to put on people. The P90 is amazing. It's incredible. And it may have a bit of a learning curve to it. But remember, it's never the answer. It is, however, a powerful tool, and it's to be respected. Just like sometimes when you got to dig a hole, you could get a spoon, you could get a shovel, or you get a P90, which is a backhoe. But you got to learn how to drive the backhoe sometimes first before you can effectively dig a hole the right way. What they say in Dumb and Dumber, we're in a hole, Harry. We just got to learn to dig ourselves out. That's kind of the P90. I know it's completely kind
Adam, we should make a PDF that, has recommendations on how to get the most out of your experience with your P90. And then also, basically talk about the 5 elements of healing and how this one does harness geomagnetism. But we also have to take into consideration the other things like sunlight at particular times in the day, the air, the quality of the air that you're breathing, water, the quality of water you are taking in, and then also your food sources and the choices that you're making, and how you can do your best on how to find healthier food sources, what those are, how you can access those. And those, of course, would just be recommendations, but not any advice whatsoever.
Even living environment. Are you sleeping by Wi-Fi or the smart meters? Do you have all the electrical connections and an apartment that are right outside your window by your bedroom? You got all the smart meters and everything out there. Are you living in a steel building? I mean, there's all these things that we got to take into consideration between air, food, water, mental health, physical environment, the P90 use. There's a whole balancing component to all these things, but we could make a cheat sheet for people to make it easier.
Adam, is it okay if we commit to staying on to 9:30? Would that work? Because there's a lot of hands and there's more people that have joined. Are you able to do that? If not, I can stay
I'm
on.
supposed to take some calls, but I'll tell you what, I can do 8:15 or 9:15, 8:15. How's that work for you?
Okay, yeah, let's keep our answers concise and let's get everybody's questions.
Yep. And we can do another one of these even next Tuesday or next Thursday, because we got a lot of announcements this week. But I'm going to move to the next comment. So I was on the P90 yesterday. EMF reader was placed at the readings. It's pulsed electromagnetic frequencies. So you're going to see an EMF reading because it's PEMF, pulsed EMF. It's not surprising at all and the PEMF will fluctuate because Oli Life has a specific, they don't tell us what they release the frequencies and the intensities at, because they've got a very specific algorithm that they use that they don't share because it's proprietary, because it's better than almost everybody. It's better than everybody else's out there. So if you were to use an EMF meter and a Gauss meter and measuring all the readings, you're going to see a lot of different cycles and fluctuations that the company has put together to make it this very proprietary technology that you're going to see a bunch of fluctuations when you get your EMF readers. Somebody had a question about the metal watch and jewelry, metal pins in the body. Metal pins in the body, we got people that are nearly Iron Man that are using the device fine. Always just start low. When it comes to jewelry and watches, if you can take it off, you'll get more benefit from it. How much more benefit? Like if you've got an earring you didn't take out, it is not going to be the end of the world if you didn't take it out. You could get more benefits if it was gone. But little things like an earring, they're not going to be the end of the world. If you're using your device consistently, way more important than if you're worrying about, well, I've got one silver bracelet that's closed, I didn't take off. You're going to live. I promise you, you'll be okay. May it slightly diminish the benefits that you could get. It's just, listen, if you can, and if it's convenient, take it off. But if you can't, or it's a big pain in the butt or anything like that, don't overthink it. It's okay. You're not going to die if you've got a little bit of the metal on. It's just, if you can, try to take it off. Helping with bursitis. Jen, help me out here with this one. I'm drawing a blank here. Can you
I'm
help
sorry, what's the question?
me?
I'm
Can it
sorry.
help with bursitis?
Yeah, it can help with bursitis. Bursitis is an inflammatory response, a consistent inflammatory response in the bursa sac. Which type of bursitis particularly?
Didn't
Did
list.
they
That's why.
say?
No, didn't say.
Okay,
That's why
yeah,
I'm just
so
drawing
any,
like a little bit
any,
of blank. I'm sorry, brain fart here.
it's okay. Any portion in the area that has a bursa sac, bursitis can develop. So just like we talked about releasing the fascia through the piezoelectric phenomenon, that's how we can eliminate some of that pain from bursitis, and then also getting to inflammatory response reduction, and then assistance with pain. And then a lot of times, you guys, just like we've been talking about, one of the reasons that Adam and I focus so much on mental health and our stress responses, and we talk about this device putting us into parasympathetic. Nothing can heal if we're not in that parasympathetic tone or parasympathetic state of the autonomic nervous system. So that's another way that this device could help with resolving an inflammatory constant response with something like osteoarthritis and inflammation of the bursa sac. So yeah, absolutely. And I can tell you that in my own family, I had an acetabular labral tear, fully resolved. You guys, it wasn't a full thickness tear. It was a 3/4 tear, fully resolved. And also a partial sacroiliac joint ligament that was not, again, not full thickness. It was partial thickness, like 1/4. And it's fully resolved. So what you see over time with consistent use will truly amaze you.
All right, thank you. I was just drawing a massive blank there for a second.
It's okay. I was actually answering somebody in the chat, so I was half listening. So anyway.
Yep. If you have multiple areas of pain, does this device go to all the areas in general? Yes, if it's closer to the lower extremities, because that's where the energy is originating from. As a general rule of thumb, the lower areas will receive more of the frequencies and voltages and the response first. However, different areas of the body are weaker than others, that they may, due to even the stimulation, even if you've got injuries in the lower area, but you've got a weaker area of the body up higher, it may feel the frequencies and everything more. Should you place your hands on the device instead of your feet if you have metal throughout your lower limbs? Completely optional. Start with your feet because it's just all the nerve endings that are in the bottom of the feet. It's a great place to start, just on low. However, you absolutely can use your hands on it as well if you would like to and experiment with it. But remember, the hands have way thinner skin than do the feet. So always, always, always with the hands, almost every single time, level 1 for 5, maximum 10 minutes with the hands, because it's hitting the upper body. The skin on the hands are thinner. Always lower levels and shorter amount of time with the hands. But if you would like to, you can experiment feet only, hands and feet, shoulders, knees, and toes. Sorry, I had to throw that in there. But you can experiment with all of it back and forth. So 12 minutes ago, what's the new announcement? Sorry, Brian, we'll tell you later. The piezoelectric effects, we'll get to that. Somebody about pins. People with pins and rods in their body, it will not be a problem. We've got tons of people with pins and rods, literally even in their feet. They do it fine. Just make sure to start low and slow. See how you respond. Nearly every implant that you've got for pins and rods are stainless steel or titanium, which are very biocompatible, but also have nearly no interaction with electromagnetic fields. Meaning, if we expose titanium or stainless steel, that's why magnets don't stick to it. They don't interact with magnetic fields for the most part. The terahertz waves, they may absorb it and heat up a little bit, but for the most part, they're inert to EMFs, magnetic waves. Somebody with a loop in the charts and heart activity, not a pacemaker, can you use it? I would encourage you to Google and really take a look into PEMF and arrhythmia, which are much like the loop. See what kinds of results that you find on Google. They're real easy to find. Just Google PEMF arrhythmia, which is very related to this loop in the charts. It's sort of the same thing. They're related. Look that up and see what you find. And that's the most compliant answer we have to give to you. But that'll make it easy. Let's see. Jump have to be post. Got a friend bitten by dogs upper hand. Do you think it? And we got a friend that got bitten by dogs, severely messed up her hand months ago. Do you think she should use her hands instead of the P90 on the feet, or both? If you have direct injuries on the hands, forearm, elbows, shoulders, even neck area, putting your hands on the device, you're going to get more benefit from that. Remember, always lower levels, shorter amount of time. Do not burn your, do not like try to turn it up and jack it up. Do not, please save me. I don't want to get that phone call of somebody asking, well, I put it on a level 10 on my hands. I'm going to hang up the phone on you and go, why? I always told you not to. But always low levels on the hands. But if you have a direct injury here, because you're putting your hands on it, you're getting the more direct stimulation right here. That is a better option than the feet in almost all cases, because the injuries right here, you're getting the direct stimulation to it. Now, will it hurt if you do the feet too? No, not at all. Do you have to do feet first, then hands then feet? It's fine. Do it either way. Using the device is better than not using it.
I would do it with the hands one time in the day, and then the feet the other, because you do want to access those meridian points in the feet. And then just one tip I have to throw in is that if there's any type of injury to the hand or to the foot, please make sure that skin integrity is intact. Make sure that there is full epithelial healing, and that there is no type of open wound or open sore where you put your foot or hand on the device.
Don't put pussy hands and feet on the thing and leak the juice. Don't do that. Don't do that. Use the one when it comes back out. Someone was asking related to the metal chairs with metal arms, but covering it in an Afghan. It's better if you can use a wooden chair or something with less metal, only because as the frequencies are coming up the body, those metals can pick up that frequency and absorb them. So you're getting less, but it's not going to be the end of the world. If you've got a certain chair that you want to use, it's better to have less metals at all times. But if you're using the device, even if you've got metal in you, even if you're wearing like a little silver bracelet or a couple earrings, or your chair's got metal in, the springs in the cushion, or if it's got a metal arm, less metal is just better. So if you can, you're going to get more out of it, the less metal that we have introduced to the magnetic fields. Let's see.
I do have patients though in wheelchairs that are literally metal wheelchairs that are getting phenomenal benefits. So I understand, but I do just want people to know that we have people that basically are in a wheelchair from the moment that they get out of bed till the moment they get back in, and are still getting amazing results.
Yeah, and so it's using it, period, is way more important than do I have a little metal around me or a metal chair, or I've worn just do less if you can. Somebody else has this, will this help somebody? I'm going to switch this from will to could it help somebody been diagnosed with bipolar disorder and borderline personality disorder. Per the doctors, caused by medication Dilantin during pregnancy. The doctor said her neural pathways do not connect, and hence she's always also diagnosed with a word processing disorder. Terahertz and PEMF both have the capacity to enhance neuroregeneration, neuroconnection, nerve remyelination, emotional stability, parasympathetic activation, all of those combined in one, that if they're looking for a non-drug way to support all of the things that I just listed off in terms of bipolar and personality disorder and the nerves not connecting and word processing disorder, if you were to pick one thing on the planet that could help as much as possible with as many things that they would like assistance with, the P90 is going to be pretty much hands down the top of that list. There's other components we can add of nutrition and counseling and all those other things. I'm not saying don't do those, but I'm saying if you were going to make one investment that could assist with as many different symptoms as possible to assist the person, the P90 is going to be hands down one of the best things that you could possibly get your hands or your feet on. Metal chairs. The P90 uses IR in addition to PEM. Nope. We do not have far infrared in the P90 right now. We do have a warmer plate now, and the newer models have a second switch. You can warm up the feet plates before putting your feet onto them, but it's not near infrared. There are new devices coming in the future that are going to include the near infrared, but they are not here yet. Miss Hillary, did you have a question or comment?
I had a comment or a few. So I have an artificial disc replacement and I had a fusion and no problems whatsoever. And I also just wanted to piggyback to some people in the past in the beginning of the conversation. I'm also a chiropractor and I do functional nutrition. And a lot of times, yes, you get worse before you get better. So I have literally had some patients, unfortunately, get extremely sore after an adjustment where they might hate me for a second, but they like me as a person, they trust me, and then they're so much better a few days later. I'm just using that example where some of the people that have spoken tonight, they've had some issues, and I agree, it's not necessarily, I would say good. It means something's happening. And I can't give advice because they're not my patients, but if they were my patient, I might say you might want to ice in the case of the woman with the disc issue. And there's a possibility she overdid it, but there's also a possibility that maybe it healed, maybe it went into place, in a few days from now maybe she'll feel substantially better. So same with detoxing. I know people feel like garbage, and yes, increased pain, but you have to go through those processes to get better. So I'm just kind of piggybacking from earlier on the discussions that were being had.
Well, and I
Agreed.
just want to say, I wish Hillary were in Los Angeles because I'd go and see you in a heartbeat. And I wanted to add something, Adam, Jennifer. I am so excited because in addition to this kind of like, oh my God, what the hell is this event this morning? I had something so unusual happen. And it's the first time. I was feeling warm tingling in my toes. And I have experienced for several years now numbness in my toes, and I have a neuropathy in my hands. And so to feel this warm tingling in my toes was really very exciting. And I did 30 minutes on level 5. So the tingling, I thought, whoa, something good is happening here. And I'm so excited about it because I want to see how this progress goes. I am so blown away that various issues, health issues are happening. Something is happening in your body all at once. It's not just doing one thing, or, fixing
Right.
something.
And very, very frankly, this is why we are all here together tonight. This is why Adam and I do this. This is why all of you guys are here with us tonight, because every day we're hearing back from our customers, from our clients, from our patients, from our friends, our families, our loved ones. We're hearing testimonials like this on a daily basis, and it keeps us going, and it keeps us motivated, and it keeps us excited. And we just want to keep bringing this device to more and more people. So thank you so much for sharing with us. And thank
So
you.
I want to ask you, Jennifer, this, because I know that nerves take 7 years to regenerate. That's basically the medical standard, isn't it? And a nerve cell takes 7 years to come back. And so I wanted to ask you if you have experienced a more rapid regeneration of nerve cells.
Myself or with clients?
Well, with any clients, if anyone has.
Absolutely. Just like Adam mentioned, you can Google the EMF terahertz Night Susan, and you can research the studies on remyelination of the nerve fibers, and then also of the myelin tissue. And then you can also research how when you remove an inflammatory response around the nerve, again, just like the joint, it creates an environment where that nerve can heal. So yes, absolutely.
And I'm going to interject here too, Kate. I've got a really cool thing for you to Google. This is one of my favorite components because I love nerves and neuroplasticity and cognitive enhancement. But just go Google terahertz waves, rats, severed spinal cords. Now, I'm making no claims about this device. I'm just saying go Google terahertz waves, rats, severed spinal cords. Researchers went and severed the spinal cords of rats, exposed those nerves to terahertz waves, and they found that the nerves started to regenerate way faster than they'd ever seen and more than they'd ever seen in anything else in their life. I'm not going to say this device is going to do that, but this device contains terahertz waves and you can go research it. So the timeline that I reject is that researchers say, oh, it takes 7 years to regenerate nerves. Yeah, if you only do what Western medicine says. However, we have new tools. We can advance the rate at which we can bring the body back online faster. So I'm not making any medical claims, but you're going to find that real fascinating to go, just go Google that up. Rats, terahertz waves, rats, severed spinal cord. It'll be like one of the first results. Like, you can't miss it. If you can't find it, let me know. But you seem very, very capable. I am quite sure you will find it.
And there's a
Thank
few
you, thank you.
questions. Oh,
Oh,
sorry, to
Just
interrupt.
thank
There's a
you,
few
just thank
questions, Adam, that have asked about infrared. On the spectrum of frequencies, near infrared frequencies, not light, do fall within what this device emits, from what I've seen.
don't have any more.
No, they're different. The infrared frequencies are over here, microwaves are here, terahertz waves are right here. Now, terahertz waves mimic in many ways, and there will be an overlap on the spectrum in a small component, but infrared waves are different than what terahertz waves do because of the bandwidth that terahertz waves have. They're completely different animals. There's a very tiny portion
Someone's
of
saying that they're
overlap.
seeing a device out there that has near infrared combined with terahertz and PEMF.
They're kind of redundant. That the near infrared is a little redundant. There are some that are out there, and doesn't necessarily mean they're better, because the terahertz wave component, there's a lot to the technology. It's not just like, hey, I'm going to dump out terahertz waves. It's a cool device. There's a whole lot going on there. And some of the devices in the future that OliLife has, we're told, are going to have near infrared and terahertz waves, but
Near infrared photobiomodulation in the form of red light therapy.
yes.
Yes.
Yep. So there's going to be, it's a whole different animal. And just the best way to put it is, there's a lot of knockoff devices out there that are cheap pieces of garbage that you can pull up off of Alibaba. And I've had people buy some and they get 2nd-degree burns on their feet in 5 minutes using the thing. So there's a reason like we work with OliLife. I've tried a numerous other ones. I'm not going near them. The 158 patents, the tried and true that people keep getting the results. If you want to go find some stuff off Alibaba or some other company, like, knock yourself out, but don't come to me when something bad happens.
There's also some companies out there, and I don't want to spend a lot of time on this, but there's also some companies out there that if you put in PEMF and terahertz, they'll come up and they'll actually say PEMF and terahertz, but when you read the fine print, it's only terahertz. So just be careful.
Yep. Somebody said, somebody with a damaged spine from a botched back surgery, what do you suggest? Use the device and use it consistently. Find the level that's right for you and just use it. That's the best way to put this. There is no level 1, level 10. Just use it consistently. That's the biggest thing, but use it consistently on the levels and the times that are right for you. Is P90 safe for somebody who has a pain pump? A pain pump,
Is it an
Jen,
intrathecal pump? What kind of pump? Where is it located? And can you turn it off and on? Does
If
it
you-
operate?
yeah, best
Is
way
it
to
in the
put
chat?
best way to put that in general, if you can shut the device off during use, then it's totally safe to use. Otherwise, Hillary, you had a raised hand?
Okay, sorry. I'm in the dark. I'm sitting outside.
It's okay.
Yeah, I just want to interject again. I'm a little, I didn't want to interrupt any of the people, but with the mental health component, and I'm not being ugly, I'm just very frank. I've had some very freaked out individuals in my office, and I've been a freaked out individual, so that's why I can say it. Where they're just so, the anxiety is through the roof. They're cussing. They're saying all sorts of things, and they get on the P90 and they just calm down. Some fall asleep, and some of those people are doing well like once a week. And oh, their knees are better, and oh, their hip pain's better. But I have seen myself so many people where the mental health component is so huge and they get so much better. There was something else I was going to piggyback on. I'll just leave it at that for now. I forget.
Yeah, I'm right there with you. Honestly, too, I only need to use my device once to twice a week to keep my sleep patterns on track on low levels. I love the mornings. Level 10 minutes, that's my cup of tea. But I'm kind of pissed. I'm furious because I lent out my personal device going, oh, I can be without it. No big deal. I'm about 2.5 weeks without it. And my sleep is garbage and I'm exhausted and I'm pissed. I need this thing back like right now. But unfortunately, they're like 75 and 77 years old and they needed it more than me. But I want it back because my mental health and my, I could do it. I got all these other things I could do and block out time. But the sleep is one of the biggest things. I have never found anything else that fixes my sleep. And I am so off today because I laid in bed until 5 o'clock this morning, couldn't sleep. I got 2 hours of sleep. So I'm going, my whole day is shot because I couldn't fall asleep. I'm pissed. I need my P90 back because once or twice a week is what I need on level 1 to level 3 for 30 minutes. It keeps me sleeping great for the whole week. I love my mornings, level 10. But I've been without it for about 2.5 weeks now, and I'm starting to like lose it because I'm tired. I'm not sleeping well. I'm all erratic because as soon as my sleep goes out the window, I'm a whole different person. It's not a whole lot of fun. I'm not as nearly as much pleasant and not nearly as pleasant to be around. So, but you're not wrong. Like even once a week or twice a week, like you said, it can make a really big difference for a long period of time in mental health across the boards. And for me, especially because I haven't been sleeping, I'm furious. I am not a whole lot of fun to be around. I'm all kinds of erratic. Sue asked, what about bad arthritis in the hands where somebody can't pick anything up? Use your hands on the device then. You can use hands, feet, both. Just your feet if you want, just your hands if you want. Split it up, feet in the morning, hands at night. Or do the feet, then do the hands. But remember, the hands just always low levels. And let's see, your infrared, I think we Calm AF cheat sheet code. Nice, Brian. PTSD, so much better. Thank you. All right, we hit the end of the comments here. We're right at the point. I got to go jump on this other call. So my friends, thank you everybody for being on this call.
Do you have to get on a Zoom or do you need your Zoom?
Call.
Do you want me to stay on for another 15 minutes?
Yeah, tell you what, I can make you the host and I can dip and you can stay on.
Okay,
so,
will do.
Perfect. All right. You got the Zoom, Jennifer. Everybody feel free to stay on. These are a ton of fun. We've got to keep doing these things because they're great.
I think these are extremely valuable. Whoops, did I just get off?
Nope, you're still on.
Okay. I think these are extremely valuable because so many people have questions and it's hard to sometimes ask these questions and get appropriate answers on Facebook. So let's keep doing these and nobody is obliged to stay on. We've been on a very long time. I just want to offer my time for 15 more minutes and see if you guys have anything.
Hillary, announcements, stay tuned till Sunday. We'll get to those.
Yes.
Raise your hand.
We need to wait till Sunday so we have exact dates.